What's up, everybody? Zary Manning here, and in this video I am going to talk about boat life, or at least boat life as I have personally experienced it. Now, there might be a variety of reasons for why you clicked on this video, and to be honest, I'm not really sure what you're going to get here because this is purely spontaneous, as have most of my videos been. But without further ado, what have I learned to date? Well, I have learned that, your mindset is paramount. And the mindset that you have going into boat life is going to determine everything. Right now, as it stands, I have gotten back from work and I have noticed that the power is actually out at the marina. So, there are two ways that I can perceive this situation. I can get disgruntled, I can get frustrated, but that's not going to help my situation, is it? That's not going to make my afternoon any better. And I can complain about the boat and the marina and all the rest, but that's not going to do me any good. And this is something you have to bear in mind if you want to venture down this road. So, what attitude did I take whenever I got back to the boat? Well, I took the attitude that if I had a house, I could very well also have a loss in power for whatever reason. It's raining outside, there's lightning and thunder, and that happens in a house too. But it's the little things, and it really is your attitude, it really is your mindset that you take to boat life. Now, you probably clicked on this video because you want to know maybe what the must-haves are for a liveaboard boat. Maybe you're considering living on a sailboat like I am. Maybe you want to know what I wish I knew whenever I bought the sailboat. And that's kind of why I'm making this video. It's kind of a day in the life of living on a sailboat, being on a boat, being a boat owner. It's kind of a video on what I wish I knew and some of the must-haves. Now, what do I wish I knew? Well, I wish I knew that I would have to get an insurance surveyor for the insurance company that I went through. So I was able to avoid the pre-purchase survey, but in hindsight, I wish I would have just got a full survey from the get-go. Depending on the insurance company you go through, you might not need a survey. There are a lot of insurance companies that don't require a boat survey, but that's something that's going to run you about $400 or $500. And yeah, I mean, there are good things that come out of it. There can be bad things that come out of it. You need to research your surveyor, make sure you're getting a good surveyor before you go and pick who's going to come in and do the job. Make sure you're getting someone that's good, and make sure you're getting someone that's a decent human being. I will say that the surveyor I hired caught some things that I didn't catch, and I caught some things that he didn't catch. It's not a perfect science, and it's something you need to be prepared for if you're going to buy a boat. So keep that in mind. That's going to point out some things that you might want to fix, either A, to get insurance, or B, to help the resale value of the boat whenever you do go to sell it. It'll put you in a better position for putting the boat back on the market whenever that time comes. But yeah, I didn't anticipate an insurance survey. I don't know why. I didn't think it would be an issue for me to go with the insurance company that I wanted to. So bear that in mind. Not only are there pre-purchase surveys that a lot of people will buy or will pay for, I didn't. I had an 8-page checklist that I went down. I just Googled what surveyors look for, and I did my best. So I got around the pre-purchase survey. But you may want to consider, once you find a boat you really like and you've done all of your checks and you spent a day or two looking at it, you may want to consider going ahead and getting the survey before buying that particular boat. In my case, I did pretty well. I'm happy with my decision, but it could have went the other way. It very well could have went the other way. So get a survey would be my advice, but only after you've looked over the boat, you've narrowed in your focus, and you've got one that you really like. So that's that. You're probably gonna have to get an insurance survey. What next? All right, so the must-haves on a boat. I've come to find that I really like having headroom. thankfully this boat has headroom, and not having it has been a non-issue. And I think it's one of those things where if you don't have it, you're going to really wish you did. But if you do, then you're going to be similar to my case where it doesn't bother you. Of the books that I've read about liveaboards and of the people I've talked to, the ones who do not have headroom on their boat report that it's not a fun experience. All right, so you're probably going to want headroom. The other thing is a functioning head. I didn't really trust my head right when I got the boat because I wasn't too familiar with how a marine bathroom or restroom, works. I wasn't too familiar with all the plumbing and all of that, but I use it regularly now, and I got to tell you, it's nice to just be able to wake up in the middle of the night and take a piss. So it's basic. These things I'm mentioning are basic, but they're must-haves, at least for me. I went half of the summer in the Georgia-Florida heat without an AC unit. Ended up breaking down and going to Lowe's and buying one of those standalone units that you would just sit on the floor and run, out a window, run the exhaust out a window. That was about $300, and it would cool the area down right in front of this bench that I'm sitting on, and I would just sleep on this bench. But now that I actually have upgraded to a marine AC unit that I got secondhand that was used, I can actually sleep in the V berth where I have my 2-inch piece of memory foam over the cushions, and it's a much better quality of sleep. The other night, it stopped. The marine AC unit stopped for whatever reason. I think the pump lost prime, and I just left it off the rest of the night. So you're gonna have boat life problems, right? And your budget is obviously going to determine how many problems you have. If you've got a lower budget, then you might have to rough it. You might have to buy a lower end boat, but there are people who do it. This boat that I've got now was in about the 10 grand price range, and by the time it's all done, I'll probably have about 20 grand in it. Somewhere between 15 and 20 grand. And that's fine. That's working for me. But there are people who spend 2 grand on a boat and live on them. And I mean, we had a group of women come out to ADOC recently out here at the end of our marina. I was talking to the dockmaster about it, and he said these women pulled up, and they were shitting in a bucket. They had come quite a distance. They didn't have climate control, no AC or anything like that, and they were getting along just fine. So people do it. I have a friend that lived out in Seattle for the better part of 2 years on a sailboat. I believe it was even a little longer than that. And he didn't have headspace. He didn't have, a marine head like I have. I think he just had like a, I don't even know if it was a compost bucket. But he had a gym membership, and he had access to some basic facilities. And even though it was harder without the head, he made it work, and he got to live on the water, in Seattle, and that's pretty cool. But he mentioned that was hard. He did mention there was an element of roughing it there. It's a little Spartan to live like that, obviously. So you gotta figure out what your must-haves are for you. But again, for me, I have found that the head space, climate control, whether you're in a northern or southern climate, you're probably gonna want climate control. I know I do. What else? Head space, the head, climate control. There's probably some other must-haves. I know I like doing things on my computer, on my laptop, so having this big table with a wide amount of surface area is awesome to me. I didn't want a small dinky table. Now granted, that's just an accessory, an amenity, something that you could add later, but you get the idea. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to have different needs and wants. So that's a little bit of insider's tips on some must-haves and some things that I wish I knew. I was hoping that I wouldn't spend any more than, $5 grand extra on the boat after purchasing it, but it's looking like I might end up spending 10 grand. And I knew that with a boat comes another grand, right? But what you have to understand is with a liveaboard, it's probably more than that, especially if you're buying a project boat like I did. So these are just some thoughts. I'll show you some cool little lanterns that I went and got today. Since the power is out, I figured I'd make use of that time and run to Ace and get a little lantern. It's been charging, but it hasn't charged enough yet to turn on. And you know, it's solar powered, so I'll be able to hang these outside. Hey, there it goes. Bring them in if I need to bring them in. Probably need some more charge here, but yeah, you know, it's the little things you got to enjoy. I've made some curtains. I've got some videos on the curtains that I've made, and it's a part of the process of making the boat your own. You know, whatever you buy, you're slowly going to get more and more comfortable on it as you live on it longer. And really, any inconvenience that you might have, guys, look, you're gonna take a view out the window. You're gonna see the water. You're gonna see birds crossing at sunset. You're gonna see the moon reflect across, you know, across the choppy little waves and everything between the boats. And you're really gonna soak it in. I feel like a lot of people rationalize themselves out of certain decisions like this, or certain dreams that they might have. But what you have to understand is we're not just rational creatures. We're also emotional creatures. And it's important to do things that make us happy and give us a sense of purpose and fulfillment in life. And so whatever that is for you guys, you know, I just hope in some small way, you know, my content can help encourage those things. And that's what this channel is about. It's something I get fulfillment doing. I like teaching. I like talking to other people, and I like sharing my experiences. So that's why I make these videos. I hope that's what you're looking for. There's a lot of videos out there that touch on boating and what it's like to buy a sailboat, the must-haves, and there's a ton of videos on what people wish they knew. So go explore that content, guys. It's all out there for free, and it's all readily available. I know I did the same thing. And it's neat that we live in a world where people are willing to, you know, just share that stuff. And yeah, I can't thank the people who have provided those types of videos enough. You know, it's helped me on some of my boat projects. And yeah, you know, it's a big community out there. If you're looking and getting into the boat life, I would say give it some thought. You know, I certainly don't regret it personally, but that's just my take, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and again, can't thank you enough. I'll see you next time. Take care.